We're diving deep into the top 7 most valuable Lincoln pennies that have stunned collectors and broken auction records. Some Lincoln pennies are worth thousands, even hundreds millions of dollars. These rare coins could be hiding in your coin jar, your wallet, or that old collection in the attic. From minting errors to ultra rare varieties, whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, you won't believe how much these tiny copper coins are really worth. Stay tuned, your penny might just be a jackpot. The jaw-dropping story behind this of coin collecting. You'll learn how a simple 1964 SMS Lincoln penny became one of the rarest known pieces in numismatic history, the secrets behind its creation, and how a handful of these coins stunned collectors. 1964 SMS Lincoln penny marked a turning point in American coinage history. With silver prices rising and political unrest brewing, the U.S. Mint was facing massive coin shortages. In response, they rushed to mint billions of coins. But among the chaos, something unusual happened. Auction records and sales. Over the past decade, several of these coins have crossed the auction block, and the numbers will blow your mind. In 2016, a 1964 SMS Lincoln penny graded SP68RD sold for a jaw-dropping $94,000. Another graded SP67RD brought in $58,000. More recently, in 2023, a specimen sold privately for $120,000, according to industry insiders. That's right, a 1-cent coin selling for more than most luxury cars. The secret, rarity, condition, and a powerful backstory shrouded in mystery. How to identify a 1964 SMS Lincoln penny? Now you're probably wondering, could I have one of these in my coin jar? The answer is, not likely, but not impossible. Start by checking your 1964 pennies. Look for coins with unusually sharp detail, brilliant luster, and satin or mirror-like fields. If it stands out, get it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. But beware, there are lots of polished or altered coins out there. Only a tiny number have been authenticated as true SMS errors. That's why expert authentication is essential. The most mysterious and legendary errors in modern coinage: the ultra-rare 1982D small-date copper Lincoln penny. A coin that wasn't supposed to exist, a coin that defied the mint's own plan, and a coin that has sold for up to $250,000. To understand why the 1982D small-date copper penny is so special, we have to go back to the early 1980s. The U.S. Mint was facing a major problem. The cost of producing pennies in copper had become unsustainable. Up until 1982, pennies were made primarily of 95% copper. But the rising price of copper meant it was costing more than 1 cent just to make a single penny. Auction sales record values. When the discovery was made public, the coin world went into a frenzy. How could such an error exist, especially at a major mint like Denver? And how much could it be worth? Auction room footage, bidding escalating rapidly. In 2017, one of these 1982D small-date copper pennies sold for a staggering $18,800, and that was just the beginning. By 2019, another specimen was graded and authenticated and sold privately for a rumored $100,000 to $120,000. Today, collectors estimate that if one appeared in a major public auction, it could bring $150,000 to $200,000, maybe even $250,000, depending on condition and timing. How to identify a 1982D small-date copper Lincoln penny. So how do you find one of these incredible coins? First, check the date. You're looking for a 1982D penny with the small date style. Check the date style. Look for the small date design. The 2 is narrow, the 8 is level with the 9. Look for the Denver mint mark. Only the D mint mark is relevant here. No other mints apply. Weigh the coin. Use a jeweler's scale. If it weighs 3.11 grams, it's copper. If it weighs 2.5 grams, it's zinc and not valuable. Confirm with a magnet optional. Copper and zinc aren't magnetic, but this helps rule out counterfeits. If you believe you found one, send it to a top grading service like PCGS, NGC, or NX for authentication. Don't clean it, doing so could destroy thousands in value. We're diving deep into the incredible story of the most valuable 1981 Lincoln penny ever discovered, an error coin so elusive and rare that experts believe there may only be a handful in existence, what to look for, why it's worth a fortune, and how a 1-cent coin could turn you into a 6-figure, the incredible 1981 error penny. Let's take a quick step back in time. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, created to honor President Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse with Lincoln's portrait has remained largely the same for over a century, making it the longest-running design in U.S. coin history. Auction sales records value: $100,000 to $200,000. Let's talk money. When this 1981 error penny hit the auction block, it didn't just break records, it shattered expectations. It sold for a mind-bending $120,000 in a private sale a few years ago. And that's before the coin market saw a huge uptick in value between 2020 and 2024. Experts now estimate that if the same coin were sold today, in 2025, it could easily reach $150,000 or even $200,000, depending on the bidding war. Just imagine, 1 penny, 1 cent, worth more than a brand new Lamborghini. That's not just a collector's dream. That's a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. How to identify a rare 1981 Lincoln penny? Here are the key signs of a valuable 1981 Lincoln penny error. An unusually sharp and mirrored reverse design. A thicker rim than typical business strikes. No mint mark or an unexpected combination like an S mint mark on a business strike. An off-metal planchet wrong size or weight. Visible doubling on letters or numbers. Use a 10x jeweler's loupe, weigh the coin, it should be around 3.11 grams for solid copper, and check for mirror-like surfaces. If you see any of these signs, get that penny authenticated immediately by PCGS or NGC. 1969 S Lincoln penny with a rare and dramatic doubling error. A coin so valuable and so mysterious, even the Secret Service once got involved. Double die obverse Lincoln penny. Stick around, this isn't just another penny, this is treasure in your pocket. Let's rewind the clock to 1969. America was undergoing massive transformation. The Vietnam War raged on, the civil rights movement pressed forward, and Neil Armstrong had just taken one giant leap for mankind. Meanwhile, in the coin world, the humble Lincoln penny continued to be a symbol of American history and trust. Record-breaking prices, up to $150,000. Let's talk money. The 1969 S Lincoln penny isn't just rare, it's a millionaire's coin in disguise. Depending on its condition, the value of this tiny copper piece can reach absolutely astronomical heights. Here are some jaw-dropping examples. In 2008, a stunning MS-64 red example sold at heritage auctions for $126,500. Another high-grade specimen fetched $105,800 in a 2012 auction. Some lesser-grade examples, even with wear, have sold for $40,000 to $60,000. In recent years, top-condition examples in mint state red, MS-65 and above, have been valued at up to $150,000 by top grading services like PCGS and NGC. How to identify a 1969 S Lincoln penny? Here's how to know if you've struck gold or rather, copper. Check the mint mark, it must have an S mint mark beneath the date. If it says D or has no mint mark, it's not the one. Look at the date 1969, you'll see strong, clear doubling on all 4 digits. This isn't a shadow or a blur, it's bold. Examine the doubling on these letters, is very distinct and sharp. Each letter should appear doubled. Doubling is clearly visible across all the letters, especially, avoid damage confusion, don't mistake machine doubling or damage for this rare variety. Use reference photos or consult a coin expert. If you think you have a match, don't clean the coin. Send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. A clean, certified coin is your best shot at a massive payout. Mysterious and elusive 1983 D copper Lincoln penny. We're diving into the mind-blowing story of one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins ever struck in American history. This coin isn't just rare, it's the stuff of numismatic legend. To understand the 1983 D copper Lincoln penny, we need to rewind a bit back to 1982, when the U.S. Mint made a dramatic change in the production of Lincoln cents. Until mid-1982, all Lincoln pennies were made primarily of 95% copper, with a small amount of zinc. But copper prices were rising fast, and producing each penny was becoming more expensive than the coin's own face value. So the U.S. Mint took action. How to identify a 1983 D copper Lincoln penny? So how do you know if your 1983 D penny is the real deal? First, check the mint mark. You're looking for a small D below the date, indicating it was struck in Denver. Next, the critical test, weighing the coin. A regular post, 1982 zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams. But a pre-1982 copper penny and any copper error like the 1983 D weighs approximately 3.11 grams. You'll need a precise digital scale, preferably one that measures to hundredths of a gram. If your 1983 D penny weighs 3.11 g or more, you may be holding a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Sales auction prices, real money. Let's talk money, the part everyone wants to know. Only one known authentic 1983 D copper Lincoln penny has been verified and sold at a major auction. And when it hit the block, it fetched a mind-melting $17,625, and that was back in 2013, in a market that wasn't even. Since then, speculation and demand have skyrocketed. If another example were to surface in pristine condition, especially in mint state or red, RD, coin experts estimate it could bring in $200,000 to $250,000, and possibly even more in a bidding war. Yes, you heard that right, up to $300,000 for a penny. We're diving deep into one of the most controversial, mysterious, and valuable U.S. coins ever minted, the 1959 Lincoln penny. That's right, a penny that, by all logic, shouldn't even exist, yet shocked the numismatic world when it surfaced decades later. It's a story of numismatic legend. A coin that defies official records. To understand why the 1959-era Lincoln penny is so valuable, we first have to look at what was happening at the U.S. Mint in 1959. For 50 years, the Lincoln penny had featured two iconic wheat ears on the reverse, a symbol that became embedded in American coinage history. From 1909 through 1958, the wheat penny dominated pocket change, and collectors loved its elegant, agricultural design. Auction sales price: $30,000 to $100,000. By the early 2000s, the mythic 1959 Lincoln penny resurfaced, and this time, it made headlines. In 2003, the coin was auctioned by Goldberg Coins and Collectibles, and it sold for a jaw-dropping $48,300. That price stunned the numismatic community. But it made one thing clear: this was no ordinary era coin. This was a one-of-a-kind treasure. Experts speculated that, had the coin been in higher grades, say MS-66 or MS-67, its price could have easily surpassed $100,000. Recent appraisals estimate that if a 1959 Lincoln penny were submitted in gem condition to PCGS or NGC, it could command $60,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on collector demand. How to identify a 1959 Lincoln penny? Check the date and mint mark. Look for the 1959 date on the obverse. Below the date, check for a mint mark. No mint mark equals Philadelphia Mint. D. Denver Mint. Examine the reverse design. It should show the Lincoln Memorial, not wheat stalks. If you see wheat ears on a 1959 Lincoln penny, it could be a rare transitional error worth thousands or even hundreds thousands of dollars. Diving deep into the unbelievable story of the 1983 copper Lincoln penny error, one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever discovered in modern U.S. history. With just a handful known to exist, this isn't your average pocket change that's rocked the numismatic world. Let's rewind for a moment. To truly appreciate the rarity of the 1983 copper Lincoln penny, we need to understand the context of American coinage at the time. In 1982, the U.S. Mint faced rising production costs due to the increasing price of copper. It was becoming too expensive to keep producing pennies with their traditional 95% copper composition. Record-breaking auction prices: $250,000 to $350,000. Now let's talk about the money. And this isn't pocket change, we're talking about life-changing cash. One of these extremely rare 1983 copper pennies made headlines when it was authenticated by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, one of the top grading services in the world. The specimen was verified to be struck on a copper alloy planchet instead of the standard zinc. Auction price: a jaw-dropping $250,000. And that wasn't the ceiling. With only a handful known, some experts believe fewer than 10 examples exist. This era coin's value keeps climbing. Experts estimate that a well-preserved, high-grade 1983 copper penny could sell for $300,000 or even $350,000 at the right auction with competitive bidding. How to identify a 1983 copper Lincoln penny? So here's the million-dollar question, or should we say, the $350,000 question. Here's your step-by-step checklist. Check the date. It must say 1983 with no mint mark or AD for Denver. Weigh it. Use a precise digital scale. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams. Zinc pennies weigh around 2.5 grams. Look for color and tone. Copper pennies often have a warmer, reddish-brown tone over time. Sound test: gently drop the coin on a hard surface. Copper has a distinctive ring, while zinc has more of a dull thud. Get it verified. If your 1983 penny feels off, send it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional authentication.